didn't reach around. Reach around. Hey guys, Mitch here. Welcome back to MEESAMODS. The work clothes are on, which means one thing, we're back in the garage working on the Corolla. Alrighty guys, so in this episode we've got a few things to get through. I want to finish masking up all the glass on the car. I want to continue sanding down the orange stripes that were already painted on there, as they were painted on top and they were raised, and it was quite a distinct bump that it left. And I got a bit of bog work to do on the boot lid, and then I want to cover everything with a fresh coat of primer, and then we can start looking into sanding it down. As before we get into it, I'll just give you guys a little bit of a reasoning as to why I haven't posted anything for the last couple of weeks. I've just been waiting on some car parts to turn up, and I've just been pretty busy, so I haven't had much of a chance to get out here and work on it. I've also had a few things that were just waiting to be delivered. I had to wait for payday to buy some more stuff for it. We've got a coil pack holder, which is for the engine bay. I got some new mirrors for it, so when it's all painted and looking nice. I think I figured out what we're doing paint-wise as well, but we might keep that a bit of a surprise for later on. I have been working on it slowly in the background, just doing little minor things, nothing major. I've installed a throttle cable in the front. I had to get a VS Commodore one, as the stock Corolla one was way too short, as the throttle body on the V6 is on the other side, so it just didn't reach around. But yeah, it didn't quite reach properly, so we couldn't hook the throttle up. It was literally like, it probably took me half an hour because I had to go and make a little bracket to hold it to the firewall on the inside, just because it was all different. That's enough chit chat. Let's get into some action. Alrighty guys, a helpful little thing I found when I was doing some research on this stuff is this stuff. It's affectionately known as tape and drape. It's basically a plastic bag with masking tape already on it. So you just tape your line and then just pull all the plastic down. Just a handy little thing that I didn't know existed until we started this. So yeah, hopefully that helps some of you guys along the way. We're going to start working on the bogging the boot lid. I don't know if it shows up on camera. You can sort of see it. There's a big indent there. It's kind of just waving. There's not really much I could do about it. I tried to panel beat it and it got it out a little bit, but I just couldn't get it back to being perfect. So out comes the old filler. Hopefully this is in line. Now, if you guys have never seen this stuff before, it's basically like a putty you mix with a hardener. So if you open it up, got the little tube of hardener. Read the instructions on the back and it'll say you got to add so much hardener for a certain amount of stuff you use. Once you mix it all up, you just smear it across, sort of each way, whichever way works for what you're trying to do, until you get as relatively flat. Don't be afraid to go a little bit high because you're going to sand it back anyway. So it's not a big thing if it doesn't line up perfectly, as long as it's overfilled. The way I've worked with this stuff before, I just get like a little plate or a bit of cardboard or just something you can mix it up on. Mix it up on here, then you just scrape it off. I got a whole collection of old business cards, like plastic business cards. I just use that as a blade. I did buy a proper blade for this, but I don't know where I put it. That was a few weeks ago. So we're just gonna mix some up and smear it on and hopefully not wreck anything. The upside with this, if you do happen to bin it, it's not too bad. You can just sand it off. It's nasty shit. Smells quite strong as well, so I don't know if it shows up, but that's what you're working with. Since it said it had to be plastic, I just got an old Chinese food container. I'm not going to use the inside because I had primer and fillers and thinners in that. 1 part hardener to 50 parts filler. That's going to be hard to fucking pick. Ew. Nasty, goopy shit. To be fair, I probably don't need too much. It's not like I'm doing bulk amounts just yet. Give him a little Look, that could be right, it could be wrong. Who knows? I guess we'll figure it out when it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then we'll just make more. From memory, it turns like a pinky color. It's been a long time since I've used this stuff. Yeah, there you go. It's starting to turn pink. All right, that's looking pretty good. Let's pump it. Drag it over our little spot there. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We have a secondary one up here. Drag over that. So it doesn't need to be perfect. That's the main thing, because you're going to sand it anyway. So the main thing is you just want to make sure you fill the hole that you're actually there trying to fill. You don't go too thin. As I said, it's easier to add more. All right, it's starting to get a little gloopy now, so we'll leave that, let that set. And while we wait, we'll move on. We might mask the back window and we can start getting into some other stuff. All right guys, we're about to chuck a little bit of primer down the side of the car here. We're just sort of mixing it up as we go. Realistic expectation is I'm expecting some of this to bubble. There's about 4 different types of paint on this car at the moment. So it's there's a very good chance we're gonna get some flaking and peeling like we did with the other primers and the fillers. Particularly, I'm thinking probably that top of the A pillar. We're probably gonna get some peeling there because I know for a fact there's kill rust paint on that. And that's usually the one that reacts poorly with this. So just a bit of a realistic expectation. I've already sanded this orange stripe on the door down, so it's nice and level. Get a coat of this on and we can start looking at sanding the whole lot. All right guys, as expected where the kill rust paint is, it's peeling and flaking again, so we're just gonna let that dry off. We'll scrape it all off, get rid of the peeling, sand it back, hit it with another coat. In the meantime, you might have seen in the video there, I actually had the masking on the front window come off as we were blasting past it with a paint gun. So that's not ideal. Thankfully, it's only acrylic paint, so a bit of thinners and you can scrub pretty much any of it off without too much hassle. So I'm not too concerned about overspray. Still though, it's pretty annoying. I just got generic sort of painting, like painter's tape, and it doesn't stick very well. So I might have to go buy some better stuff. I don't know. We'll see how we go with the back windows. The old tape and drape's working quite well. So yeah, we'll mask the back window and we'll keep going.
If you would keep me waiting, I would wait a lifetime. In tricky situations, I will be a lifeline. Nobody's meant to be fighting alone. That's why I'm taking you home. I never felt something like this before, no. coming back for you time after time. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but I know I'll never leave you behind. No, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the moves, yeah.
Alrighty guys, this is the first time like one side of the car has been a single color since I've got it. We had a few blowouts on the masking, so I'm gonna have a bit of post paint to remove from the windows, I guess, but that's okay. There are worse things that could have happened. There are a few runs and stuff on it because I went pretty heavy-handed on a few spots where there are a few little dents, just trying to fill it up. But overall, it didn't peel as bad as I was expecting. I'll get the GoPro down and show you guys the gutter rail, which, as I said, I was already expecting that bit to happen. Got a couple of coats on. The bog on the boot's nearly dry, so we're gonna start sanding that back in the next little section. And yeah, so far pretty happy with how it's going.
Falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the moves, yeah, baby, I got you. When you feel like falling, I'll be there to prove, yeah, that baby, I got you. No matter the distance, no matter the moves, yeah, baby, I got you.
Once you sand it down, it actually comes up pretty nice, and that feels like you can see the color difference, but you can't actually feel a transition in the paint, which is kind of what you're after. I'm so excited. We're about to get a thunderstorm. I love storms. I don't know about you guys, there's just something about them. I don't know, I just like the cold rush of air that comes before it. I like how unpredictable they are. I don't know, it's just cool. So hopefully if we get something good, I'll spin the camera around and we'll get some lightning photos or something. We'll see how we go. In the meantime, I'll bring you down. Have a look. Pulled the masking off, at least off the sides, for two reasons really. One, I just wanted to see how well it worked, if I had to clean anything up. So I did that, particularly around the door handles. It worked better than I was expecting. The only one I wasn't happy with was the keyhole, like the lock. Other than that, it worked pretty well. Everything looks pretty clean cut. We're gonna take a quick little break just to give everything a chance to dry. I'm gonna go get a drink, maybe a beer if I got one. I don't think I do, but a drink of some sort, probably water. We'll come back, we'll sand that other bog down. I also put some bog on the roof, which I did off camera. It was just a leftover from the boot lid. We'll sand that down, maybe give the boot lid a spray. But if I'm gonna go down that road, I've got to pull the other tail light off, and that's a bit of a job in itself. So we'll see how we go. We'll give it 10, and we'll come back and I'll see you guys then. What I'm doing here, I'm just finishing sort of tape and masking off the rear window. I'm going to try and paint this boot lid. It's not, the bog's not 100% perfect. Like I could probably go for doing another coat, but I'm just going to see how we go with the primer filler. If it does enough, then I'm not going to bother. I'm not chasing perfection on this one, so I just want to get it good enough that I can paint it and it'll look decent. As long as it doesn't look like it's covered in freaking dents and holes the whole way around, I'm not too fussed. Like I want it to look as good as I can get it. But to do the boot lid, we're gonna have to take this rear light out. And they're a freaking pain in the ass to get off, if I'm honest. All right, we need a tiny little socket. I have really bad luck with losing. If I haven't already, it's concerning. Might be in the back there. We may have already lost it. That's concerning. Saying that masking tape, freaking terrible. I'm never buying that shit again. Freaking losing the plot. So the problem with these tail lights is they're well and truly siliconed in, because they leak like a sieve otherwise, or they did. The other thing I've noticed as I've started pulling this car apart, there's a lot of bolts missing. If I get super keen on it and I decide I want to take this down the road, registered road, I might actually buy some new lights for it. I'll get some proper sealed ones. I repaired one, so the one that's for the other side that's already off. I repaired that one when I pulled it off. I re-glued it, resealed it, did all the things, but like they're just chewed up. I think the car came with like 2 other sets of them. And even those ones are like the spare ones, still trashed. Alright, do we want to take bets how easy this comes off once I get this bolt off? Ooh, I thought I lost the bolt to the nether then. So this car has 2 really weird like wheel well bits that just go down like underneath, like right to the bottom of the rear quarters, and you drop something down there, it is gone. All right, let's see what we're dealing with. Ooh, rip this leg too. Ooh. Bottom's free. Might need the old razor blade again. Where did we put him? Don't panic. We found it. All right, bring you guys down here for the ride, eh? All right, so what we're dealing with is there's like the whole cavity behind the light, like in between the body and the light panels, is just full to the brim. It's silicone. So, I mean, it's watertight, which is good. You can't get the bugger off. I had similar issues getting the first one off. Oh, yuck. Look at it all. Oh, there's a nice big patch of rust in the corner of that. I'll show you guys once I get it off. All right, this should be us. That'll do. All right, look at all that silicone. Delicious. All right, so hopefully you guys will be able to see. Got a nice little rust patch up here in the corner. I'm kind of glad we pulled this off now. Means we can wheel it all back, clean it up, try and treat the rust as best as we can. Try to get some of this silicone off. Ain't nobody got time for that. I think I might hit the last one with the grinder to get it off. Just so much of it. Given I'm repainting it, it doesn't really matter if I take the paint off. Might matter if I take the metal off because it's rusty though. That could be a problem. Alright, I'm gonna get something a little more heavy duty. I'll be right back. When in doubt, get the grinder out. Hopefully this isn't. Whoa. That stuff stinks. I got the majority of the chunky bits off. That's alright. Might give it all a quick little spray with the rust converter. Mostly because water does tend to pool there a bit. That's why it was filled with silicone, I'm guessing. All right. That's not looking as bad as I was expecting. I think now, let's see if we can get some primer action happening back here. All right guys, thanks for coming to hang out for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think we've made some good progress. It's kind of nice seeing the car, like one side of the car, all one color. It's kind of getting me excited for actually getting it painted now. The downside of that for me anyway means we're gonna move on to the hard part soon, which is wiring and engine stuff, because I have zero ideas about that. So I may be coming to you guys for some help and advice. But yeah, it's not looking too bad. We've still got some peeling to deal with. Yeah, at some point over the next couple of days, I'll spin it around and we can start the other side. I won't pull it apart as far as I did with this one, like I won't take the quarter panels off and stuff. We kind of did this side just to have a look, and it was that clean, I'm not worried about the other side, so it's just the back of the car that seems to have the rusty bits. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But anyway guys, I've been Mitch, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for tuning in to MEESAMODS, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.